Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at a two-player game from Dr. Finn Games, and this is Nanga Parbat. Did I pronounce that correctly? No, but it's a really cool game where you're going to be trying to trap all different animals, use their powers, gain different goals, and try to get the most points through doing that. Let's go ahead down the table here. I'll give you a general overview of how the game plays, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so we're going to go over Nanga Parbat. I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but it's a two-player game here, and in the two-player game, you're trying to get the most points, and there's various different ways you're going to get these points. The bulk of the points are going to be from completing these goals or objectives up on top. I can show you what those are in a second, and then you also get a private objective. Everyone gets one of these at the start of the game. So this private objective, if I wanted to score it, would be, and this is hidden by the way, if I have a hiker or a campsite on the top of any of these peaks on this one, so the number 1, I get 1 point for every hiker that I have up there, and I have 2 points for every camp. So that's going to be a secret goal that I'm going to run to try to do in the game. Now, the game itself has a pretty easy flow to it. So if you're the start player here, you're going to look where the hiker is. You're just going to plop an animal off and put your hiker on there. When you put your hiker on there, you're going to look at the number here. So that's 5. And the hiker will move there. The next player will take their turn, and they'll take an animal and plop their hiker on there. Take a look at the number where their hiker got put, and move it to that space. So that was 3, I think, right? Yeah, 3. So he moves up here. And we're going to continue on doing that. Well, there's a couple of things and reasons why you're doing this. When you're picking up these animals just to start off with, you can have different bonuses with them. So when you pick them up, you always put them on the top here. This animal, the blue animal here, is just a wild animal. So you can use them for completing these goals here for equal or sets. So just whatever animal you want them to be. This animal here, if I move him down, so you can fire each of these animals off that you get once. So if I get another one, I can do that same thing again. But this one here lets me swap 2 adjacent hikers. So if, for let's say my opponent was here, give him that animal or her. Once I go there, I can use this ability to swap the 2 hikers. The next one down here, I can swap a hiker with an adjacent animal, so I could go like that. And the reason why you want to do these things is to get them in position, because you're trying to, let's say, it's later on in the game, you're trying to get lines of connected hikers, so you could turn them into camps, which I'll show you in a second, but I'll just add these things to my chart. So that was this one. You can swap adjacent hiker with an animal. This one here, you can just swap any 2 animals. So let's say I just want all these guys, the pandas, all to be over here. So this is going to be super valuable spot or whatever. It's my turn. I want to move one of the pandas to me so I can pick it up. That's what this does. This one here, I can move the hiker wherever I want on my turn. So finally, if I end up with a panda, I will gain a point. So only if I'm lower to or equal than my opponent. If I end up to be on the same spot as my opponent, then I'll actually move 1 ahead. So the panda is really, really cool. So that's what these animals do. And we're going to gather them to do their abilities. But why? Well, I'm going to look at this chart here, and this is going to be how many of each thing I'm going to need to be able to gain the points below. And only one person can have a cube here for the game. So if I claim this, no one else can. There's a caveat to that where, let's say I claim this one here because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hikers. I would replace these with, now I don't get these hikers back. They just get removed from the game. And I replace these with camps. And I will immediately get 6 points. So that'll put me up to 9 here. All right. If my opponent has 5 hikers, but doesn't want to wait till they get 6, they can actually take this lower value. So they could actually claim this one instead and get those points if it's available. That's camps. The next thing you can do is turn in different types of animals. Now there's 6 different types of animals available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the panda 6. However many of these, so in this case I would remove 4 different types and remove them from the game. And then I can take a look at this number 4 here and go there and get 6 more points. So that would put me up to 15. This one here, they have to be all the same. So, maybe later on this opponent got all 3 red pandas on this for one reason or another. And they can turn in all 3 of these red pandas. See the number 3 here. And they can take this spot here. This will put them up 6 points. So they'll be up to here. And that's basically it. You do have a limited number of cubes that you can claim things with. So you can't claim after that. So you want to try to be strategic in what you turn in. But also try not to push your luck too much because your opponent might grab up that goal that you're trying to go to. And you might end up getting the lower one anyway. So a lot of different things you can do in the game, but this in a nutshell is how the game plays. Now, additional rule here is if you ever end up in a spot like right here, so let's put these. So if the hiker ever ends up in this spot right here, and it's completely full and it's your turn, you can move the hiker wherever you want to be able to get an animal. So at any one time, you're always going to be able to get your animals. Once everyone runs out of their hikers, the game will end, and person with the highest score will win. So that in a nutshell is how to play the game. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts. So I like Nanga Parbat. It's a pretty solid 2-player game. It's very easy to teach, really easy to go through, and you have a bunch of different strategies on what you're going to be doing in different areas and when you fire off those animal abilities, and you get a lot. You can build them up and do all really sorts of cool stuff in this game. So I would recommend this for anyone that's looking for like a 2-player game to play with your significant other at the end of a day, or just to play with a friend. And especially it's great for intro level game too, to get people into the hobby, because this is very easy to teach in a very addictive game. So that's my thoughts on it. Thank you for watching.